That arrest happened right here in front of this vacant home. It involved U.S. Marshals, ATF, and state police. Well, the car was towed away a long time ago, but this hole has been here all afternoon and evening as crews have been working around the clock trying to fill this. Again, as you can see, a hub of activity here. It's really been building in the last hour. We've seen Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. We've seen Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib here as well, supporting these UAW members. You can really feel the roughness and the added friction on this side versus what the old road used to be. It's a relatively minor difference, but it makes a big difference behind the wheel. It was more than 2 hours ago that hail fell, and you can still see it around me. It's here, and even on the ground. I'm going to pick up a few of the bigger pieces here, just so you can see. I mean, look at how big they are still right now. Sheriff Mike Bouchard had said they recovered the suspect's phone. They also retrieved a number of other items from this house. Hearing the accounts from a lot of these students, we just saw earlier a couple of students we had huddled in our news van because they didn't know where else to go. They didn't know where else to feel safe. You ran towards us to take cover in the news van even. So, I mean, do you feel there's a safe place to go right now?
We saw lights and we sprinted. That was it.
Yeah. Brother's worried about you. I'm worried about you.
And as you can see from the body cam video, Burks is about as far away from the officers as I am right now from the camera. And at this distance, Chief White said during that press conference that a taser would have been ineffective. So as Burks is moving towards the police officers, that from here is when they open fire.
Porter.
By now, you've probably seen this viral video of a cowboy on I-75. And turns out the man in the video is a professional cow catcher here in Michigan by the name of Ricky Littlejohn. Can you see me? You're all good, man. You're all good. Whoa! The party is alive and well here in Ann Arbor. I was buried for a second. It's okay. It's okay. A tense night for students at Michigan State University. For roughly 4 hours, fear and chaos with a shooter still on the loose.
School shootings are still an issue, and how everyone thinks we left it in high school, and never did I think this would happen.
The moment we arrived on campus, a group of freshmen approached us with hands in the air.
There's a group of people in the parking garage, in the light, wherever.
They had been with a group hiding in a nearby parking garage after running from Acres Hall, separating from friends along the way.
I still have belongings in that building, ones that I need, and friends.
A bunch of friends.
30 minutes later, the group finally emerged from the parking garage with their hands up. All had been hiding together, coming out when they saw police lights.
It's terrifying, man. It really is. We don't know what to do at all. We're just listening to the police scanners, hoping for the best.
People are crying and scared. It's just a really bad experience.
As students worried for their own safety, they also worried for friends who were separated when the shooting began. Thank you for glad you're safe. And in the midst of our interview, that friend they lost came running out, the emotional embrace playing out right in front of us. How relieved are you that you just found her?
I mean, most people don't see me cry like this, so if that tells you anything, it should tell you that. My brain is non-existent right now. There's no words for a situation like this.
Guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
With the verdict in, the shooter's father found guilty. 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 1 for each of the 4 students killed.
We're strong parents. We are, because we had strong kids. We had great kids.
That's Madison Baldwin's mother, just one of the parents still grieving from the shooting at Oxford High School. She, along with the parents of Hannah St. Juliana, Tate Meir, and Justin Schilling, lost their children that day. Now, more than 2 years later, they watched on as the guilty verdict was read.
Just kind of a pause in reality.
When you have that moment, that build up, and then you have that moment, it really is like a relief, almost like a breath of fresh air. But it's not really a breath of fresh air because you still got to go through it another time.
All 4 parents say their fight isn't over. They're turning their sights now to school officials, who they say should also be held accountable.
Why can't we ask any questions? Let's have the opportunity to go to trial, just like what we just witnessed here, and let the people speak. We're being denied that right.
It's a long road. It's a hard road, but we are all determined to go down that road.
We got this behind us. It was a big step. We had our small bit of accountability on both sides, and now we have to go for the big picture and wrap this thing up and hold everybody accountable.
The foundation of every church is its congregation, a chorus of people from all walks of life, each with their own story. And at St. James Episcopal Church in Grosse Ile, the harmony you hear isn't complete without the story of the church itself.
It was a dream, it was a vision, it was statements of faith that led to the creation of this extraordinary church and its history.
Reverend Philip Dinwiddie has been here at St. James for 18 of the church's 154-year history. He quickly learned how much the story of the church and its founder meant to its members.
There were a couple of parishioners along the way who felt so strongly about Lizette's story that they just constantly wanted to bring it up and they wanted to have the story told and shared.
So this is the photo, right? Tell us about this.
This is a photo of Lizette.
Elizabeth Dennison IV, known as Lizette, was born into slavery in 1786. She, along with her parents and 5 siblings, worked on a farm in what is now Metro Detroit.
A lot of people think that there was no slavery in Michigan, but there was.
St. James historian Kate Hartland knows Lizette's story well, from her struggle as a slave and her escape to freedom in Canada to her return to Detroit and the construction of St. James.
She faced many, many difficulties just in the fact that she was a Black woman trying to go through life. And yet that didn't really stop her.
As a freed woman in Metro Detroit, Lizette worked and saved her money, began investing in stocks and a steamboat company, soon becoming the first Black woman to own land in Michigan. After she died in 1866, she left $1,500 of her estate to build a church, leading to the birth of St. James in 1868.
As we look back at Lizette, we see in her a saint.
Father Phil says Lizette's story resonates with the congregation. Despite being a predominantly white church in a predominantly white community, they feel called to be stewards of her story.
She's an inspiration for all of us, whether we're Black or whether we're white.
In a place where all are welcome, no one story or experience will be alike. But for the people of St. James, that is music to their ears. After all, you can't have harmony if every note is the same.
That's the story that we celebrate here, and that's the inspiration that keeps us going.